Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Gabay, Digital Content and Social Media Manager here at Sports Video Group. And we are joined by Chloe Pavlech today. Chloe, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on this today.
Fantastic. Me too. So before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so everyone can get to know who you are?
Well, how it all started, it's actually a really long story. So for me, I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. I claim Ohio all day, every day. From there, I went to the University of Maryland to play basketball, where I got my broadcast journalism degree. After that, I couldn't decide, do I want to coach? Do I want to get into broadcasting? What do I want to do with my life, which is what a lot of athletes go through. And so instead, I decided to get into coaching and get my master's at the University of Connecticut, and I was the GA and player development coach there for the UConn women's basketball team. While I was there and while I was at Maryland, I had a friend who had asked me one day if I thought girls would want to watch their highlights. And I was like, why wouldn't girls want to watch their basketball highlights? I think that's a great idea. So at that time, Instagram had just gotten video, so probably showing my age a little bit. But we decided to start this media network, which is really an Instagram account at that time. And people started catching on to it. I had to take a step away from it because it was against NCAA rules. And so then for me, I said to my business partner, we really have something here. And so once I finished up my master's, I decided I didn't want to go full out into coaching. So then I took a step away from that and I said, well, let's just see what we can do with this Instagram account. And then one day we got a call from Overtime, and Overtime said, hey, we want to buy your Instagram account. And I was like, you guys want to buy an Instagram account? Like, I thought it was the craziest thing. I had no idea Instagram was going to turn into this super successful business and that Meta was going to invest in me as far as a creator. But from selling this Instagram account, that's what it became. And then I was the co-founder and head of women's sports at Overtime. And then after that, went to Together. If you've seen the Everyone Watches Women's Sports, I wasn't a part of that aspect, but I was at the ground floor of launching the brand. And then from there, I told you I've been indecisive about coaching or not. I got an opportunity to work at Baylor University and coach for the women's basketball team there, where I was an assistant. And while I was there, NIL had just gotten passed through the NCAA. And so I spearheaded our NIL council and helped Baylor Athletics become number one in total NIL earnings throughout the Big 12. And I just wanted to do more for athletes. So I decided to start my own business and help athletes build their brand and learn how to truly market themselves. And while I was doing that, I got a call from Unrivaled Basketball League, which is a new 3-on-3 full court league with a one-on-one tournament. The coolest part to me about Unrivals is all 30 players are getting ownership. And on top of that, they have the highest average salaries in US women's sports history. So I'm all about women's sports. That was a super long, condensed version of my journey, but I'm
No,
so happy to be on this.
that you are incredibly impressive. I'm in awe. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this. But I guess going off the huge wave of women's sports popularity right now, I mean, it's always been around, but right now it's the hottest time it's been. And working with MetaQuest, I know you're working with them. How do you guys find that using the MetaQuest 3 can kind of enhance watching women's sports and kind of propel forward the women's sports movement that we currently have a ton of momentum behind?
Okay, I got to tell you, I got my first MetaQuest 3 last month. And when I tell you, and I'm not kidding, I haven't been able to put it down. I love live sporting events, but I also don't always have the money to get a courtside ticket. And when I tell you, when you put on the MetaQuest 3, when you go to the stadium app, you are literally on the court. Like, I felt like I was coaching in the Olympics or in some of these WNBA games that I've been watching on the MetaQuest 3. So to me, I think it's just going to change everything on the way we consume and watch live sports.
Yeah, no, I also got one and it's you're courtside. It's like the best ticket you'll ever get. Nothing matches it. I guess also like with the Olympics, that's obviously the next biggest thing going on right now. I mean, watching it through the VR headset. What do you find that's different than the traditional, viewing experience of sitting on your couch and watching it? Like, how do you find that I know we talked about it's close, you're really up and next to the athletes, but what else do you find through that? MetaQuest experience?
Yeah, well, probably like you, I'm super sad that I'm not in Paris. So for me, I mean, being able to put on the MetaQuest 3, being able to just watch the Olympics through there has been incredible. I feel like I know I keep saying this. I feel like I'm there, I'm in the experience, but even the way on how you hear things with the crowd, you feel as almost if I watched Simone Biles doing her routine. I felt like I was doing the routine with her. And I know that sounds super crazy, but I know anyone that has a MetaQuest 3 and is watching the Olympics probably feels that same way. So to me, this was my way of going to Paris without really going to Paris.
Yeah, the cheapest trip to Paris we'll ever have with your MetaQuest 3. And so, I mean,
Exactly.
continuing with that, I mean, you've obviously mentioned women's basketball, you've mentioned the Olympics. What else do you find that is like really conducive to watching the MetaQuest 3? I mean, what experiences are you finding are like the most immersive, or you feel like are really making the MetaQuest 3 something that fans should be looking for within their like sports package, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's just going to change how we consume and watch live sports as a whole, right? Because you have the WNBA on there, you have the NBA, you have NBC, you have Peacock. And to me, it's all of these different sports, these media outlets, these platforms, and it brings it into one condensed place where you can watch everything. And I think I'm one of those people. I'm in the Gen Z category, and I'm not really big into my TV, right? When I lived in New York, I never had a TV. And I just recently got a TV because my mom told me I needed a TV, but still I don't use it a lot. My friends, we don't watch TV. This outside of going to actual live sporting events to me, I think the MetaQuest 3 is the now, is the future, and that's how we'll all be watching live sports if we can't be there.
Yeah. I mean, going off that, what do you think like the future of live sports? Do you feel like 20 years from now, what do you think the technology will be like? I mean, involving MetaQuest, kind of evolving from it in regards to live sports and being a fan.
Yeah, I think the more and more emphasis we put on the overall fan experience as it relates to MetaQuest 3, that is going to shape our future. So as fans, a lot of times I don't even want to say fans, I want to say Gen Z, I want to say the next generation. We're all about the experience. Where do we want to go? Why do we want to go there? Because we know if we're willing to spend this money, that it's going to be an incredible experience. But to me, MetaQuest 3 makes things more affordable. You're not missing out on anything. And this is a way you can consume it all.
Mhm. I mean, and then now going off the next generation, I mean, you have helped the next generation of athletes as well with their NIL journey. How do you find that technology similar to MetaQuest or just the evolution of technology right now helps up and coming athletes with their NIL journey as well?
Yeah, I think it's just another way and another source of income that they can make. I also think most of these athletes are innovators in their own right, just like this MetaQuest 3 product. And to be able to put it at the forefront, be early adopters, and jump into this and this VR experience, I think it could change everything for them. And on top of that, they can be trendsetters and bring their audience to this experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. It's crazy how far technology's come and the new generation.
Wild.
It's it's awesome to be a part of. But thank you so much for your time, Chloe. It's been great having you on. I wanted to thank you for being here. And Chloe Pavlech, how can people find you and all of the things that you do?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can follow me at Chloe, Chloe, two E's though. And I am the CEO of Replying on there. So if you comment, I promise I will respond.
Amazing. Fan engagement 101. Reply to comments. You're a perfect candidate for it. Well, I'm Sam Gabay, digital content and social media manager here at Sports Video Group. And for more interviews like these, you can head over to our website at sportsvideo.org, SVG Play, and the